Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So today I do have episode 6 of the Sketchbook Doodle series, and if you're new to the Sketchbook Doodle series, it's just me doodling whatever I want in my sketchbook, and I'm just filming the whole process of how I fill up a page or a spread or whatever I do in the sketchbook. So today, I do apologize about my throat. So today I'm going to be doing something I haven't done in a while, which is going back to an old 17 music video. I picked Mansae this time and just drawing different, I guess, scenes from it. Not scenes, but I just pick a member and draw them as they are in the music video. So I actually drew Wonu that doesn't look like Wonu. I drew Mingyu and I drew Vernon. I was gonna draw Jonghan a little bit later, but I was too tired because I tend to film these sketchbook doodle pages like after midnight. It's just because it gives me a lot of downtime, like no one's like here to bother me by talking. I can just sit down, have a long session of sketching. So something I'm doing a bit different, as you guys can see when I was showing my materials, I was actually using the Prismacolor Scholars this time instead of the Prismacolor Premier, which is what I usually use for like if I'm coloring in any of my doodles, or if I'm using a kind of a normal pencil for sketching. I usually use the Prismacolor Cold Erase, but this time I'm using a Prismacolor Scholar, and the reason being is actually because the color that I wanted to use this time, I wanted to match the ink that I was using. So I put some, what's it called? I'll have the name up on the screen when I show the materials, but I have diluted blue ink and water in a small water brush, and I use that to add values and shadows or any kind of, I want to block in a little bit of color for one of my sketch. So I use the indigo blue, I believe, for the Prismacolor Scholar to do the sketching and darkening up lines and stuff. And the reason I'm using this over the Prismacolor Premier is because the Premier has a softer lead, so it doesn't keep its point for like such a long time because it's meant for layering and blending. And for the Scholars, it has a harder lead, so it's easier for me to keep sharp lines, and I can just easily just sketch for a longer period of time without having to sharpen it. And usually when I sketch, I usually like having sharp lines when I sketch. If you look at how I sketch, I usually do a really light sketch with whatever media I'm using, and then I usually sharpen up my medium. Usually it's a pencil, or maybe I'm just using a mechanical pencil, so there's no need for that. And I darken up the lines by putting a little bit more pressure as well, because I'm pretty sure I have the line in my head that I want to make. Like there's no guesswork not as much guesswork for me to put down my final lines for my sketches. So yeah, so I'm using the watered down ink to kind of give value, a little bit of form, and just like a little bit more interest into my sketches. I haven't used this too much. I've only used it like maybe once or twice in my sketchbook, but I did mention this in a previous video that I would show you guys how I use this. So the thing I enjoy about using this ink with water, like this diluted ink, is that you can layer it to get it like fairly dark. Like this is a pretty light color, as you can see in the video itself, but after you layer it a couple of times, you can get a little bit darker tones. And because I'm using the indigo, if I did want to make it a little bit more, like have a little bit more depth, I could just go back and shade a little bit more. But yeah, not fond of the one I did of Wonu. I made his face very round and his face very squished, and his eyes are a little bit too round. He usually has like a lot sharper eyes. But Mingyu, actually really like how he turned out. He's probably my favorite from this little doodle page. But yeah, I had quite a bit of fun just picking or rewatching the Mansae video like a lot of times, so I could figure out what I wanted to draw. Like I mentioned before, I was gonna draw Jonghan, but I decided not to because I was too tired. But I did want to draw him, I believe, when he's like confronting the girl. So it's like near the ending, like near the end of the song, when they're like, there's Jonghan, there's Mingyu, and S-Coups are like switching places like constantly from their parts and stuff. And yeah, I was gonna draw Jonghan from there because I kind of wanted more of either a side profile or like one facing more to the left, or not left, right, even though all these guys are facing more to the right. But I just really like how Mingyu came out. I think he came out very handsome. I feel like when I'm drawing guys, like I just can't draw by shonen guys, and I would really want to learn how to draw by shonen guys. I've been drawing my OC Masaki recently again, and he's like a 21-year-old OC. Like he's 21 years old, like how I wanted him to be, and he just looks a little bit younger because like I have troubles drawing more by shonen looking boys, and like I want him to look really, how to explain it, like a by shonen. Like I don't want him to look super like young or like a shota or anything. I don't know, I'm just rambling now. So I'm sketching out Vernon. Vernon looked kind of cute in the sketch until I started to darken up stuff, and then it looks kind of weird. Maybe it's because like I actually didn't plan out the pose correctly. His face is a little bit too turned to the left. I don't know what I was thinking, but I don't know, who knows. But yeah, I had fun shading his jacket for the most part. I think I could have went a little bit darker for the jacket. You can see that sometimes like when I'm filling up like a really big space, I do squeeze a little bit more of the ink out of the water brush so I could fill up the whole area without having it to be super streaky. I really do like using this sketchbook for like some water mediums. It takes layering okay. It's definitely not for like if you want to let colors bleed into each other, but it's good for if you want to lay maybe this just like really quick flat colors for sketches and stuff. I definitely don't use this for like watercolor drawing or anything, but for sketches I really like this paper. So as you can see, I'm just filling up the top space and I believe the right side with just text because I was really just tired. I think this is close to 2 a.m. maybe 1 a.m. I think it only took about an hour to do this. I don't know, is an hour a long time for sketching? I'm not sure. I feel like it's because I only can record 12 minutes at a time for my camera, which sucks because I can't just get into the flow of just working constantly. But yeah, there is the finished 3 sketches, and on the left side you can see me planning some Hoshi stuff. I'll be posting that a little bit later to my Instagram, but yeah. Here is a close-up. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next week. I would like to do another painting. One of you guys suggested that I should paint Minghao, and there is a Minghao painting that I would like to redo, so I'll look into that. But thank you guys very much for watching, and I guess I will see you guys next week with another video, and I hope you guys all have been well. Please check on Wednesday to my store because I will be having discount codes for either returning customers and new customers, so yeah. Thank you guys so much for your support, and I'll see you next week. Bye!